Ron.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the regular board meeting of Shields Township for August 2026. I call this meeting to order at 5:31. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Swarthout. Trustee Prager. Supervisor Urso.
Here.
Trustee Parnell.
Here.
And Trustee Oliver Sobello.
Here. Okay. And our attorney's also on speaker if the trustees have any questions. And now I ask that you all rise to join me with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item on the agenda is executive session. Is there a motion to enter into executive session for any purpose stated on the agenda? Okay. Hearing none, I will close this portion of the meeting. Okay, the next part is public comment. This is a portion of the meeting where anyone in the audience who wishes to address the board may do so. We ask that you come forward, state your name, spelling of your last name for the record, provide your address. We also ask that you limit your comment to 3 minutes. Because the state law limits the board to consideration of the matters listed on the published agenda, we ask that you please not take offense if we do not respond to matters, and you may rise in public comment. With that being said, Madam Clerk, is there anyone sign up?
Yes, Mrs. Snowbird.
My name is Janice Snowbrick, and I live in Lake Brook. The July 16, 2026 meeting was a shameful display of the way a taxpayer-supported government agency such as Shields Township conducts business and manages property owners' tax dollars. After 16 months in office, the supervisor is still unable to draft a meeting agenda or conduct a public meeting effectively without the township attorney. Legal costs to taxpayers, including phone calls and travel, are approximately $280 per hour. For all the money being spent on legal fees, it is unclear how a road was approved to be paid without prior notice to the community effective, or how the supervisor believed the road variance had been widened. A majority of the 5 board members continue to support a financial agenda that directs spending toward equipment and self-interest projects that benefit 2 or 3 insiders rather than residents who should receive the full value of taxpayer dollars. 3 full-time employees work less than 32 hours per week and receive full health care benefits, including dental insurance, as well as IMRS benefits. 1 full-time employee also manages a private landscaping company within the Shields Township area, which is a questionable activity. Evidently, raising at this. 2 employees have been frequently observed and overheard making offhand derogatory comments about meeting attendees who come to seek knowledge and assistance from township officials. The supervisor does nothing to stop these subversive activities. We have heard on several occasions in the past 16 months that there is limited money for road paving. Maybe that is because 68% of the road budget is used to pay salary and overhead. The township has less than 9 miles of road to maintain, and we are being led to believe there is a shortage of funds. Instead, it appears more like there is an abundance of employees. The supervisor should not need an attorney to prepare an agenda, run monthly meetings, hold full-time employees accountable, develop a systematic plan to maintain township or demonstrate fiscal responsibility. She simply needs to do the job taxpayers elected her to do.
Thank you.
Samantha Medlin.
Samantha Medlin, 200 Melvin Drive. I want to thank trustee Oliver Salvilla. Throughout the past few months, she was the only person who advocated for an open discussion and made genuine effort to answer our questions. Unfortunately, the rest of our experience has been very different. We were met with inconsistent explanations, unanswered questions, and dismissive responses. At one point, a trustee said, "It is what it is," that we should all Sandy Hart, and shifted the discussion to property values rather than actually addressing our questions. Even more troubling has been the difference in treatment of those appearing before the township. When the owners of the proposed development spoke in 2025, they received a warm welcome, empathy, and full support. The road commissioner advocated for them. They received private emails and letters of support from the current supervisor, and the former supervisor wrote directly to the county on their behalf. Yet, they don't even live in Shields Township. The township has repeatedly advocated for people who are not residents. All while those of us who actually do live here and who fund and maintain this road have been dismissed. And now, the township is accepting only a small portion of the road, leaving existing homeowners with the cost and burden of maintaining the rest, despite the safety and width concerns we raised. The lack of understanding was further reflected in how our concerns were characterized. The township administrator implied that residents had trespassed, moved wetland flags, and didn't want new neighbors. Those statements are completely untrue and based on poor assumptions. Then, after last month's meeting, a township employee pointed at residents and stated, "You all have issues," a remark witnessed by multiple people. These incidents raise a question of accountability. Given the conduct residents have experienced, does this board truly believe that it's appropriate for its township administrator and FOIA officer to continue serving in their respective roles? This is not how government employees should speak to the taxpayers who fund the government or the residents they serve. Yet the message we have received is that our concerns were an inconvenience. We should not have to fight this hard to receive clear answers or be treated with basic respect. Unfortunately, we're now the ones living with your inaction. Stormwater and sediment runoff from the site has flushed out gravel, created large potholes, and caused flooding. Because the roadway and drainage infrastructure have not been installed, water from the site is being directed toward our property. Contractors have been running a generator to pump water out of the foundation toward our property, and then even asked us to supply the electricity for that pump. This is a drainage issue that did not exist before construction began. We trusted the township would follow its own procedure and protect the interests of those of us who actually live here. That trust was clearly misplaced. Instead, we were dismissed, disrespected, and subjected to personal attacks. I'm going to leave you with one question. Will this township hold itself and its employees to a standard of professionalism, accountability, and respect, or does it consider disrespect and hostility towards residents an acceptable part of your government?
Elizabeth Sasson? Sorry.
Elizabeth Sasson, 181 Melvin Drive. Good evening. Samantha summarized everything pretty nicely, so I'll keep it brief. But I too would like to thank Trustee Oliver Salvilla for taking this matter seriously. Other than that, this process has been rather circus-like. It was appalling that we were treated like children. Honestly, if you were a fee-for-service business, I don't know how you could sustain it. Because I'm not sure what business treats its customers in the manner we've been treated, or what employees speak to their customers in the way we've been spoken to. I know I would be fired instantaneously from my job if I treated my clients the way we've been treated. Having the public here and hearing public comments is your job. We are your customers. We still don't have transparency around why you deviated from your own set of standards. What I will say is that when a new set of standards are put in place, they're put in place for a reason. I'm a nurse, so imagine if there were new standards for doing a procedure on you as a patient, and that would make your procedure safer, pose less risk of infection, be less painful. I would imagine you would want me to follow that, so the same rationale sort of applies here. We don't care about the width of other roads in Lake Bluff. Those roads were built long before you adopted your new standards. We care about how wide and long this road was supposed to be according to your standards. Now there's another lot that's going to be developed, and that probably will continue. We had the chance to get the infrastructure that would meet your own guidelines and be carried forward as more development occurs. 188 Melvin is it was a vacant lot. It is a vacant lot. It's now sold. So as residents, we will definitely be monitoring this like hawks as we've lost faith in the system. That resident will have to bring that road from Douglas to their property, so that is more road that you'll be taking into service. And so we'll be back to be asking about street signs, lights, fire hydrants, and all the things that neighborhoods should have. Thank you.
Jackie Ramden Johnson? Ramden Johnson.
Hi, my name is Jackie Ramden Johnson, and I am a resident of North Chicago, as well as a resident of Shields Township as well. And I have brought a couple of other residents with us. Collectively, between the three of us, we have been residents in North Chicago for over 50 years, 50 to 60 years, although we don't look that old. So I'd like to thank Camilla Burstow, supervisor of the Shields Township, for inviting us. She attended a meeting that we had. Carl Evans, who is an alderman in North Chicago, invited the supervisor to speak to us about the different opportunities that the Shields Township has, and those for the residents in the North Chicago area. So I'd like to thank you personally for inviting us to come and be part of this meeting and to listen to everyone. We look forward to collaborating with Shields Township and representing our North Chicago members here and collaborating in the future with different programs that you have. We look forward to collaborating and then disseminating information and opportunities and programs that you have and how we can work better together. We were not aware as residents, and I've been a resident for over 30 years now in North Chicago. I wasn't aware when this meeting was, and shame on me, I do have internet, I can look it up. But I did know that it was something that North Chicago members can attend, residents can attend. So we will look forward to participating in the future and learning more, and then how we best collaborate across the board to make our communities across the board better communities. Thank you. Thank you.
First vote.
Hi, my name is Chris Cook. I live on 196 Mullen Drive. I'm still disappointed with the lane decision. When Jessica bought that land, she knew she had to pave the whole road. Okay, then it got down to from 400 feet to 250 feet, where she built a turnaround in the other lane, and then the board of you guys said that she only has to pave 140 feet because at 150 feet, she has to put the turnaround in. And the turnaround is on the other side of the construction gate, which is like 250 feet down the lane, that she's been using to pour concrete, maintenance, like Sam said, drain everything. So that's, excuse me, I'm speaking for myself, that's my private lane. I've lived there for 22 years on that lane, and I've maintained it, filled a million potholes. And Shields Township, and Mr. Rogers, the only time I saw him, Miss Urso, is when you were there with Jessica, and he was so aggressive towards me, I had to walk away, and all I did was try to come down there and say hi to you guys. And I felt this big, and I'm 66 years old almost. So I think that if you're just gonna grant Jessica 140 feet, and now they put a 10-foot gate with 2 chain link temporary fences with no lock on it for her driveway, so I don't think she should be able to use Gorin's gate, because that's 200 feet down the lane, so it's gonna make it harder for her to get all her construction stuff on her 10-foot drive. So I think that Jessica should really think about, excuse me, Jessica's wealthy. She could pave another 200 feet and put a turnaround in, so we're all safe. That's my honest opinion. So I'm thinking that that's my private drive past her 140 feet that you guys granted her. So should I put some private drive signs up so that our construction guys don't park on my lane that I take care of? Or should I let them park on there, or should I call the Lake County Department of Sheriff and say, when she's getting all this equipment in, should I say, hey, she's in my lane. Can you get her guys out of my lane and have them park on Cole? And I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. I'm just speaking from my heart. I've been there so long, and it's just a nightmare right now. So I hope you guys understand that we're, the three houses back here, we love each other. And we're a good community back there. And we take care of each other. And this new addition, it's been a nightmare. I'm gonna be honest with you. Sorry, I apologize. Have a great day.
Doesn't want to go off. There we go.
Jeff Urso?
Sorry about that.
All right, Jeff Urso, Lake Bluff. All right, I just want to talk about the storm. First, I think it's a little ironic that the mother-daughter combo that has cost the township over $100,000 is claiming about $280 in the bill per hour. But after the storms, we had an incredible opportunity from our road district, and I got to see it firsthand. Dan, Rob, and crew shut down multiple roads with power lines laying down. Trees were about to fall. There was multiple trees in the roads. Within hours, they had roads closed, cleaned up. We had trees. The township had trees taken down, large trees on Washington, just to protect everyone's safety. We have multiple volunteer firemen out there running around and kind of letting the township guys know where to go and how to make everyone safe. ComEd couldn't get out for hours, obviously, because power lines were down everywhere. So putting road closures and Rob staying as late as they did, they were chipping when it was dark. We had multiple lights out there. It was amazing. So kudos to our road district. Kudos to you guys for empowering them to get that cleaned up. I would say that Shields, I had an opportunity to drive through Lake Bluff and Lake Forest and Knollwood nonstop and Arden Shore. We had ours cleaned up probably quickest, our roads shut down quickest, and everything back to operational quickest. So kudos to you guys. I think it was a great thing. I know you hear a lot of negative stuff, but on the positive side, I think the team did amazing. And when when stuff hit the fan, they came and they showed up and they did their job. So I'm very proud of everyone. Thank you.
Does anyone else want to speak that didn't sign up?
Okay. All right, hearing and seeing none, I'm gonna close the portion of the meeting. Okay, the next thing is reports. Okay, I'll do my supervisor's reports. Okay, so the recent major storms brought significant wind and debris throughout our community. I want to take a moment to sincerely thank our road crew for their incredible work during the cleanup. They have worked tirelessly to clear fallen branches and debris and to get our roads and neighborhoods back in order. And we truly appreciate their hard work and dedication. We also still have wood chips available from the cleanup. If you are interested in getting wood chips, please contact the township office and we'll be happy to provide more information. And we are also pleased to have new speed humps installed on Sanford, Burris, Smith, Green, Birch, and Jenkinson. These improvements are another tool to help remind drivers to slow down and be mindful of families, children, and pedestrians who live and travel throughout our neighborhoods. Should I finish doing
Hi, I'm Carl Kitzrow, administrator. Again, I want to extend our gratitude to the road crew. I think Jeff did a pretty good job, so I don't need to beat it anymore. But they were there late at night. We had trees come down later, in several days later, that finally let loose. And they were here at 8, 10, 11 at night to pull them off the road so residents could get through. So they've done a great job of that. I'd also like to let you know that under Lisette's direction, our new custom website will be completely completed. Well, at least we hope the best. By next meeting, there'll be a lot more bells and whistles on it than there are there now, a lot more links. But right now it is functional, it's just not fully activated. Thanks, Lisette. Our paving is complete, besides the speed humps, and a little bit of a good luck. We didn't realize how much motor fuel tax we had. We budgeted about $150,000 for the paving that we did this year. Under Dan's direction, we discovered there were some deficiencies in their signage, so we got a reduction there. There's also another reduction on retainage. And then we had $42,000 motor fuel tax. over several years. It can accumulate year to year. So the final budget, or the final total for our paving, which was quite extensive, was $66,635 and change. So that was a pleasant surprise. Okay, so that's complete. From the assessor side, I do want to mention that the blue slips, or if you will, the assessments are coming out in probably 2 to 3 weeks. They come out in 3 batches, so if you have people, half the people in Lake Bluff are in a different area. So there's 18 townships in Lake County. They don't want them all at once in the first place because they couldn't handle them all in 1 month of appeals. So they do them in about 6, 6, and 6. So we'll be in the last group of the 6s for the 18. And if you have any questions about appeals or questions about your property, you're welcome to call the office. You can speak to me. That's all I have on that. The wood chips were handled, and the great job the road crew was handled. So thank you.
Carl, can I ask just a couple
Yes.
questions?
Absolutely.
One is, did we follow up with the situation with the county, with the pavers? I know that we had talked about that last meeting, and you and I and Dan talked a couple times, that I felt that their quality was slightly below par, and certainly caused a lot of damage after the work was done. Do you feel like that was rectified in a quantitative way?
Yeah, I think first of all, we're lucky that we partner with the county, because they have a lot more weight. When they called up and said, hey, the issues were by the end of Foster there, they did come and correct them. They wouldn't have come. We tried 1 year to get contractors back, and for our, if you will, small jobs, it's almost impossible. But the county calls, and they came pretty quick. I think they rectified it. Their bid, I believe, I don't have it in my head, is either 12 or 17,000 less than the other bid. We've used this company twice. They're well known throughout all of Chicagoland, but we've had 2 unsatisfactory experiences with them. I think next time we'll take a look if the quotes are close. And we think we have a way of ensuring that everybody's on the same page, because some of the companies are quoting different measures for safety. So if we have a choice and it's not a large margin, we'll probably go with somebody else next time. If not, we still have the county behind us to back up what's been happening.
And do we know whether or not they're going to trim the edges of the roads and so forth, because there was so much slag on the ends of the roads and so forth? I know that Dan was talking about something like that, but and you may not have had that conversation.
No, we basically wait till the fall to do any of the repair work along the side. We put down some grass, some mesh and grass, so it doesn't erode. You don't want to do it in the summer because we don't have trucks that can water it, or a budget to water it. So the fall is a great time for planting, get the warm day, cool night, and hopefully get enough rain to make it grow. So any of those roads will be, if you will, repaired in one way or another. Some of them might have a little gravel, it just depends on the usage there.
Do we have any idea on the cost of the storm for us, as far as coming out of, the budget at this point?
No, we don't at this point, no.
Okay. Thank you, Carl.
But we did receive a lot of compliments, and we did have neighbors that, before we even got there, had come out with, their own chainsaws and helped where it was applicable. So the community did jump in, and which we're very pleased with, and they usually have, so it's not something that's a surprise. But it was there was no place untouched, as you all know, and we got it cleaned up pretty well. We're still not completely finished. We still have a lot more chipping to do. That's why if anybody wants free chips, we'd be happy to dump them in their garage, in their driveway. Just call the office and we'll get your information. Do you have anything else, Chris?
No, I appreciate your answer. Thank you.
Carl, I also had a question. Could you help me understand a little bit more about the tax credit that you were mentioning, and I may not be using it right, but you said there was a positive offset, right?
For the motor fuel tax?
Yeah.
Yeah, every community gets a certain amount. Illinois taxes are like the highest in the country.
Right.
And a very, very small percent of that goes to each township, municipality, et cetera, based on how many miles of road you have. So generally, we get maybe 12,000 a year, because we just don't have that many roads.
extra money, I know there was a limit to the number of roads right on the agenda or on the list of roads that could be completely repaved. Is there an ability to add, or is that insufficient to repave a couple of the roads that are on that list?
Yeah, every year we will revisit the list, and we usually only pave 2 to 3, depending on the length of the roads. This time we kind of paved 3 with a 4, if you will. But yeah, there'll definitely be, usually with the amount of money we have in our budget, it's every other year we do paving, or we may do a small road. So this year, I believe, I mean, we'll see how the budget shakes out, but I believe that we'll be able to pave again in '27, which would be great, so we can just continue on. There's never gonna not be a road that needs, some work, but they pick the ones that need the most. And there's no sense to make a list right now of what road needs the most paving, has been suggested, because we have a whole winter's worth of wear. And during the winter, you have, not only do you have the plows down and the salt down, but then when spring comes, you have heave depending on the weather. And so we know ones that we think we'd like to pave, but that doesn't mean that one that doesn't heave or it's torn up isn't going to make the top of the list. So we don't schedule a road. There's no way to schedule what we don't know has happened yet. So we will definitely pave next year. I'm pretty confident.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to address, and I appreciate your having the conversation with me. With the massive storms that we've had, right, and I have seen the Shields Township truck going around. Has that Shields Township truck made it all the way over to Melbourne at all to kind of check out that area? And I understand that right now that's still a private lane because it hasn't been paved yet.
Right, we've been down there and looked at it, and it's been everywhere. So there's shore acres over there, and that's where a good amount of damage was, because there's a lot of old growth, huge trees, and just old trees. So, yeah, we spent some considerable time there. One of the big ones took out a power line, it took ComEd, I think, 3 days, and there was one over on Classy or maybe Washington, can't keep track of, where the power line was, the tree was caught in the power line, and even though the tree doesn't conduct electricity, apparently it can hold a charge. So ComEd says until we get there, can't do anything. That's where Rob and the crew came in, putting barricades up right away and making sure that, people, it was pretty obvious, you couldn't drive through, but there was danger as well.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that they're feeling inclusive rather than
No.
excluded with all the issues. And I'm not
No.
casting blame.
Right.
I just, again, want to make sure that they do feel part of the community. Okay.
But that's the end of my report.
Okay, thank you, Administrator. I will now close this portion of the meeting. Alright, next thing on the agenda is approval of bills. We have 3 sets of bills for the board's consideration. Payroll and bills of the town fund in the amount of $41,534.54. Payroll and bills for general assistance in the amount of $5,251.77. Payroll and bills for the road and bridge in the amount of $31,936.98. Is there a motion to approve payment of the payroll and bills of the town fund, general assistance, and road and bridge as presented? Is there a second?
I second. I do have a question about the actual first budget. The liability insurance line item is at 322%. Do we know why that's high?
For which one?
I'm looking at the Shields Township budget versus actual.
I think they put both the road and the town in the same thing, but if you want to call them, I'd be happy to re-examine it. But that's my recollection, that it was accidentally put from town and road in the same one, so that's why it's.
And that's driving the percentage over?
But if you look at road, I don't think there's an expenditure there. But again, if you want to call, I'll take a look at the budget with you and we can discuss that.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Alright, so the motion is made by trustee Swartha and second by trustee Sabilla. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Swartha.
Aye.
Trustee Krager.
Aye.
Supervisor Urso.
Aye.
Trustee Parnell.
Aye.
Trustee Alderson.
Okay, the motion carries and the payment of the bills is approved as presented. Next thing is old business.
I'll handle that. key item that's on there is the recent approval of purchase of a new township truck is on there again. Is after, it was approved last month by the board, during the attorney review process, it was determined that the vehicle identified in the original bid wouldn't accommodate the uplifting specifications presented. So we worked with the dealer to identify a suitable replacement, but they weren't able to find another vehicle. We were hoping to use the same dealer and work with them, but they couldn't come up with one. So we obtained a proposal from Sutton Ford for the purchase of an F-550 XL regular 4x4, 2027 here. In the amount of $57,356 through a purchasing co-op, Suburban Purchasing Cooperative. And so that's the bid. The proposed truck is $9,172 less than the one we quoted before. So we're able to save you some extra money, or save the township some extra money there. So the proposed truck would receive the same general outfitting that was approved by the board last time, performed by Henderson again, same outfitter, for the amount of $79,304.28. Not to exceed that. And is there a motion? So I'm going to ask, is there a motion to approve the purchase of the 2027 Ford F-550 XL regular 4x4 from Sutton dealership, together with the proposed upfitting by Henderson, for a total of $136,660.28. We have a motion?
I'll second.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, would it be possible to get a 2026 slightly less expensive?
No, that was what was available.
The 2027.
The 2027, yes.
Even though we're not in year 2027.
We're not going to get delivery on the truck right now either. All these trucks are in big demand, so they don't have one in inventory. They'd love to sell us an old one, last year's model, and we probably could have struck a better deal, probably. But the fact of the matter is they didn't have one. And we would have been more than happy to take an older, a 26 year. We could, because we'd have it that much sooner to send it to the outfitter, which has a large backlog of orders for outfitting, if you will.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so the motion's made by trustee Cardell, seconded by trustee Swarthout. Any other discussion? Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Swarthout?
Aye.
Trustee Prager?
No.
Supervisor Urso?
Aye.
Trustee Parnell?
Aye.
Trustee Oliver Solbella?
No.
The motion carries and the contract award for the purchase of the new township truck is approved as presented. Okay. Next on the agenda is new business. The next item is new business. The only item on the new business is approval of the regular board meeting minutes for July 16, 2026. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
I so move the motion.
Is there a second?
Aye.
The motion is made by trustee Sabella, seconded by trustee Prager. Any discussion? Okay. Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Swarthout?
Aye.
Trustee Prager?
Aye.
Supervisor Urso?
Aye.
Trustee Parnell? Trustee Oliver Solbella?
Aye.
Okay, the motion carries and the regular meeting minutes of July 16, 2026 are approved as presented. Okay, next thing is other business. Is there any other business that any member of this board wishes to bring forward?
I'm just gonna bring up the fact that we talked about working with Renew Chicago. And I have talked with the folks over there. They didn't do any big projects this summer. And so they're struggling for something that could be, if you will, all of Shields Township applied to, so to speak. So I have spoken with those folks. We might possibly have a garage built this fall, but it's in the works. So I just don't want anybody to feel that we've let that slip through the cracks. It's just that it's not the right time or not the right place. So we'll work on it, and I will bring more information to the board.
Thank you. Okay. Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
motions made by trustee, Smaga,